Good afternoon, everybody. PC Outcast here, back with more ambition, and after that very interesting exchange with Alex yesterday at his father's grave, we're gonna go on a date with him. So I guess we'll just, well, I guess we're wearing the provincial outfit again. After spending the first half of the day getting ready, you head out. Unfortunately, you feel the exhaustion set in as soon as you step out the door. Credibility down. Back to the same place as usual.
Oh-ho!
It is great to see you, he says, not even taking a second glance at your clothes. Decent favor.
Ooh.
Rock is fun. More favor. If you get a table. At the end of the evening, your legs hurt. Walk home together. And things went well. And that's it. Okay, no progress on our relationship, but we did just take a huge progress step the last time. Now, church. Do we... I hope we have something that the church likes. That one they don't like. That one they really don't like. That one they don't like. Isn't that great? Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, I guess we're wearing this. I guess we're wearing that. We don't take a hit on that, but we're going to rest up so we don't take a big credibility hit. There you go. So we should be able to gain some favor with Ludovico. What is this? Baron inviting us to a festive party. That is on the 19th. Yeah, should be able to take that. Let's revolution gossip. Sure. Wardrobe, gonna wear that. We don't actually have anything else that they like. At least it hasn't altered our credibility one way or the other. Take this, please. Okay, 2 turns. Well, we can improve relationship with Ludovico. Cheap gossip, some potentially good gossip there. Yep, we're going for the good gossip. Your latest conversation is taking place in a rather gaudy chapel separated from the rest of the guests. Bathed in the light of a few votive candles, you're speaking with a woman who apparently knows quite a bit about the party's host. Any gossip you manage to obtain from her would clearly concern the church. In fact, you feel like the details would be rather outrageous, which could be quite valuable. Suddenly, a man approaches the two of you, speaking in a jarringly loud volume. Good afternoon, madams! Oh boy. I see you two fine ladies enjoying the chapel that I donated the funds for. Quite a lovely piece of architecture, isn't it? I have often felt that piety is best expressed with marble and gilt. Oh, yeah? Yeah, especially gilt spelt a slightly different way.
Huh.
Ah, well, that's quite generous of you, she replies, taken aback by a sudden appearance in your conversation. Swollen with pride, you see him inhaling, preparing for what will be a flood of words. Okay, we can do a medium challenge. We can take some peril. Oh, then you're in luck. My friend was just telling a story that you'd love to hear. Really? You think he'd enjoy this? By all means, madame. He nods his head to the woman, always almost puzzled at the idea that someone else could contribute something to a conversation. Oh, merci beaucoup, she says. She nods to you. You see, I was just getting to the best part. You've gained some outrageous gossip. Wonderful. With your valuable information obtained, you sit back and allow this interloper to flood the both of you with a deluge of his irrelevant stories about how important he is to the local parish. Clearly, he was never told that humility was a virtue, or that silence was golden. However, you quickly realize that there's no end to his self-aggrandizements, so, sensing the first opening in his words, you leave as fast as your feet can carry you. Thank you, credibility. More potentially outrageous gossip. Some cheap gossip. More cheap gossip. Well, I guess we're going for the outrageous gossip because Ludovico has disappeared. Bonjour, Madame Deco, says an unfamiliar young man as he approaches you. I hope this isn't too forward, but I require your help with a social endeavor. There's a gentleman over yonder who... Over yonder? Is that really a common French term? Who has close ties to the newly chosen Bishop of Grenoble. Continues, pointing discreetly at the target in question. I have urgent business with him, but I'd fare far better if I were to be introduced by someone as well regarded as yourself. Would you assist me? Someone's approaching you for a task like this. Perhaps it means that you truly have become well established in Paris? If you're careful, it might be possible to use this situation to obtain some church gossip. Well, I'm not sure if I could do that until I know you better. What have you been up to? You want to know what I've been up to? Oh, of course, Madame Deco. You can't risk your reputation on any stranger that simply approaches you at a party. You talk to him very briefly, asking seemingly innocent questions about his involvement with the church and why he'd want to get closer to the Bishop of Grenoble. This process helps you get to put together some last details of a rumor you'd overheard earlier. Beautiful. Once you've gotten what you wanted, you smoothly introduce him to the target in question. In but a few minutes, the two of them are talking together as if they've known each other their entire lives. Now the conversation no longer requires you quietly slip away and leave them to their business. Yes, I would agree that that went exceptionally well, especially considering we have crappy clothes for the occasion. A little bit of credibility, lost some peril, lost some money, but gained 2 pieces of outrageous church gossip. I'll take it. Alright. Oh. Yeah, we got 1 day, and then we got another party. It's a professor. Military gossip. Okay, we better rest up. We're not going to be able to sell things. Wait until later. We're going to have to wear something else, probably. It's an open secret that Louis Joseph Dauphin of France and heir to the throne of His Majesty King Louis XVI has suffered from grave illnesses since he was a young child. High fevers and difficulty with breathing have dogged him his entire life, and he's only 7 years old. That doesn't sound good. While they have other children, this has been a source of great distress for the king and queen, who had many difficulties conceiving children at all. Her Majesty has put every conceivable resource into ensuring their child's health, but the illnesses have seemed to persist. On particularly bad days, His Majesty has been unable to stay focused and perform his duties to the nation. He simply cannot take his mind off the state of his son. Yesterday, the unthinkable happened. The Dauphin died to his consumption. The king, seen to be in great distress, he's abandoned his duties in Paris and retired to Versailles to grieve. His ministers attempted to advise him against this, considering the grave situation facing the country, but were ignored. What can one possibly say to a man who's just lost his son? Crown has lost a decent amount of power. Now, with the price of bread the highest it's ever been, and the royal coffers nearly empty, over 600,000 livres are spent on the young boy's funeral. Then again, the lives of princes has never been the object of economy. And so life goes on. Down into the dumps. Alex wants to go out again. Alex, I'm a woman about town. I have other engagements, my dear boy. But, okay. And on a rod? No. Sorry, on a rod. Alright, off to the party now. I could wear that. The crown, oh, that's more for the crown though. I just wore this. I could wear this. They don't mind that too much. I mean, they like it. Just not as much as the other one. Okay. Oh. Choice of outfit has actually altered your credibility. Okay, so there is the answer. So your outfit does, in fact, push credibility beyond 100, even though we can't see the effect directly on there.
Huh.
I don't actually need to do that.
Huh.
I can save my 10 Lavar 3 turns. That's interesting. Credibility, gossip. Good gossip. Cheap gossip. Potentially outrageous and shocking. Shocking. Let's go ahead with this. Bonjour, Madame Decaux, says a younger woman as she approaches you. You are, in fact, Yvette Decaux, no?
Uh-huh.
I have a problem, you see, she says, opening her fan and talking from behind it. My father brought me here, and there's a gentleman over there who I'd greatly like to speak with. However, my father is a retired colonel, and there are certain expectations of us. I can't be seen approaching some gentleman that I don't know. I am told that you seem to know everyone in Paris, and that you have no fear of accusations of impropriety. Really? That's the rumor going on around me? Can you help me? If that truly is your reputation now, then perhaps you really have established yourself in Paris. If your father is a retired colonel, this is also an opportunity to acquire military gossip. Oh, well, my dear, I have a reputation to protect as well. Please, tell me about your family so I can decide. Oh, you want to know more about my family? I suppose that makes sense. I think you'll find us quite reputable. Conversation that follows is brief and easily steered in the directions that you wish. On the surface, your questions appear to be about her family, but they're also allowing you to piece together elements of an incomplete rumor that you'd heard about earlier. Outrageous gossip. With your objective secured, you take her gently by the hand and lead her over to the object of her affections. Your introduction is swift and simple, but more than enough to do the job. It doesn't take long before the two of them are chatting happily, but within the stringent rules of propriety. Of course. We wouldn't want anything untoward. With your end of the bargain accomplished, you decide to leave. All in all, this appears to have been a success. Indeed. Ooh, lots of peril. Woman wearing a green emerald about her neck. More potentially shocking or outrageous gossip there. Could improve my relationship with Alex a little bit. I'm gonna go for the rumors. As you stroll through the party, you spot a vaguely familiar figure. You remember meeting him in the streets of Paris not that long ago. He gave you a piece of gossip as part of some kind of experiment? Bonjour, Yvette, Michael says as you approach. What have you been up to? I've been up to a lot, to be honest. I've never been so busy in all my life.
Oh,
well, it certainly is better than being bored, he quips before his attention becomes fixed on something over your shoulder. Life is meant for living, is it not? More specifically, my scientific studies have been waylaid by my romantic ones. Unfortunately, the woman I've set my heart upon is already being courted by a jealous and tiresome fellow. It's a situation that has put me at my wit's end. In fact, I could very much use your assistance if you're so willing. Oh, my dear Michael, just lead me to your problem and I shall handle the rest. Fantastic! I need you to go forth and separate the two people over there, he continues, subtly indicating towards a young couple, talking together in a different tent. Once the lovely madame is on her own, I shall have the chance to make my affections known. I would accompany you myself, but I think my rival is a little too canny for that, Michael says, handing you a small rolled-up piece of paper tied with a little bow, a message between potential lovers. Give her this, if you can. With this in mind, you take your leave of him and begin the process of steeling yourself while you walk over to the couple that he indicated. It seems that no matter how experienced you become, there's something disquieting about the prospect of approaching a group of strangers alone and unintroduced.
Huh.
With your nervousness calmed to a mere dull roar, you approach these would-be lovers in the middle of a conversation. The lady immediately makes room for you in the conversation. Ah, bonjour, madame. Please, come and join us. I was just relating how I've been learning to play the harpsichord. I'm hoping to be part of a recital by the end of the year. You step into the circle of their conversation, and the man says, and I was just telling her what pieces she should watch out for in her recital, as they might prove to be too difficult for a novice. Yes, you brought up many things that would make my success impossible, the musician says with a barely concealed sigh. You can tell that she wants to leave this conversation, but doesn't yet have a way out. Oh, interesting. I'll just slip the note to her. You step closer to the budding harpsichordist and try to discreetly pass her the note that Michael gave you. Stealthily, you manage to press the message into the woman's hand. She quickly stows the message in the pockets of her dress. The conversation doesn't even slow down for a moment. Of course, your sudden entry into the conversation does generate some suspicion on its own. You've spent a little credibility. Actually spent credibility that time. I didn't lose it. I think that's the first time. It's not long before she excuses herself from the conversation to read the note, where you watch her bump into Michael, who just happened to be walking in the same area. As their conversations begin together, you notice the young student shoot you a grateful wink before he and the object of his affections disappear into the crowd. Oblivious, the boorish gentleman attempts to turn his attentions on you. You manage to deflect his clumsy advances with relative ease. Still, you don't want to be rude, so you humor him for just as long as necessary before you you also take your leave. Now that you're alone, you realize that you feel an unfamiliar shape in the pockets of your dress. You check and realize that Michael seems to have slipped you a note at some point without you knowing it. And maybe copped a feel in the process. On it, you find some gossip related to the host of this party, presumably as payment for your services here. You've gained some outrageous military gossip. All in all, feels like it was a productive use of your time. That Michael. Okay, chance of getting shocking gossip there. Yeah, you're approached by a woman wearing a green emerald about her neck, and something about her feels wholly too familiar. Is it because she seems to know so much about your past, or is it something else? I mean, it looks like the woman. Oh. Potential favor and shocking with Alex and shocking gossip. Yes, please. You're about to approach Alex to chat with him when you notice him suddenly step away from the crowds. He stalks his way around one of the tents, and it looks like he's searching for something. Just as you arrive, he kneels on the ground and spreads his arms wide, ready to share something? So that'd be ensnare? Is it your intention to look foolish, or is that just a side effect? Shh, he says with a frown, slowly working his way around the tent to the side. Now that you're here, you start to notice a flickering shadow behind the canvas of the tent. On guard! Alex yells, springing around the side and snatching the strange thing up with a single hand. Wait a minute, you recognize that strange thing. Unhand me at once! I am innocent! I have 2 alibis! I have been framed! You have 2 alibis, and you've been framed. Interesting. Huh. Pierre's gaze falls upon you, and his struggles die down immediately. Oh, it's you? Who are you, and what are you doing here? This is a private event. I, good sir, am a humble representative of the Fourth Estate. The Fourth Estate, eh? Pierre replies, managing to effect a polite bow, despite the fact that his feet still aren't touching the ground. How did he manage to bow while Alex has him in the air? I am here to report on what I see, and keep our humble public duly informed on affairs of state as they transpire. I have also heard that the Duc de Chalet is having another affair. Of course, the last time he saw me, I had just run a tell-all piece regarding his alleged abuses of rank. So he threatened to have me tossed into the river Seine with a millstone around my neck. Which I would like to say, only proves my point about him abusing his power, don't you think? Be that as it may, I'm still obligated to remove you from here.
Oh-ho!
Your dedication to your duty is admirable, noble sir. However, if something can be destroyed by the truth, should it not be destroyed by the truth? That is... You know, Pierre does make a point. You'd just be doing the right thing, Alex, after all. Yvette, you really think this is the right thing? I believe you, though it shakes me to my core to find myself in agreement with this thing. You've gained some favor with Alex.
Oh.
Besides, the last time the Duc de Chalet spoke to me, he refused to address me by my rank and instead referred to me as a garçon. So, to the devil with him. Ah, this is the most excellent news, Pierre replies, wringing free of Alex's grasp, and then wringing his hands. Sorry, wriggling free. Yvette, Pierre, make sure that you show the bastard what for. Alex leaves and giving you an encouraging look right before he disappears into the crowd. Ah, that went much better than expected, Pierre remarks, dusting off his well-worn coat. As I'm in one of my many generous moods, I shall let you have this particular story. After all, not only will I get something from my humble newspaper today, I'll also finish the evening without any broken bones. Takes you a moment before you realize he's actually being serious. Now, forward in the name of truth. Ah, yes, the name of truth. The next moments are a blur of skulking and distracting people with inane chatter while Pierre goes about his work. You've never seen him in action before, but you must admit the man has a certain charisma about him that loosens people's tongues in just the right ways. Ah, we do make a fine pair, no? Pierre says with a wink as he drinks from a bottle of fine wine purloined from a nearby table. Wait, don't answer that, Pierre says hesitantly, slowly concealing the bottle inside his coat. I think that our dear friend Alex may not have been the only person to notice me. Nard! I don't know what that word is. I should probably look it up. Pierre yelps as he breaks into a full sprint, fleeing from a pursuing set of guards. You do your best to look innocent, and they seem to ignore you. Looking around the collection of tents and guests, you search for the next interesting thing to investigate. Wow. Well, that was interesting. And we've got so much gossip. It's not even funny. Good morning, madame.
Huh.
The house's rent is due today, as are Maurice's and my wages. Okay, here's your money. Enjoy. Enjoy my money, girl. Meeting up with Alex. Yeah, we're gonna be tired for that. It's just the way it's gotta be. Now, we need to decide, you want information on the military. Guess what? I already have military gossip. Next 9 days, you'll be, then I'll reward you with 15 levar in addition to your regular finder's fee. Okay. Yes. Fantastic. Well, as luck would have it, I have a whole bunch of military gossip. What does the check marks mean? Oh, it's new. Look at all this gossip. Holy moly. Okay, let's sell. Let's sell that. And let's sell that.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Ah, that's the one he wanted. Thank you, madame. This is exactly the kind of blah, blah, things and stuff. Yes. Okay, so that's actually given us a fair bit of money. Church gossip, military gossip. So, like, we can peddle this, right? Move the church towards the crown. 1 in 10 chance. Okay, there you go. We're not going to want to do this right now. Increase 1 in 4 chance now. So we're going to have to wait and do the rest of this later. Okay, that's fine. We'll be back. Let's go meet with our beloved Alex, and then we have some days here. Definitely don't want to take anything until after the 19th, so we have some time to do other things. We'll go ahead and wear the worn-out, tired provincial outfit.
Oh-ho!
Dancing together, too happy to care, but a tired yard to part together. Things went well. I mean, we drank and we danced, you know? Yeah, that's way down the line, sure. Another professor. Okay, let's go back to you and deal with the rest of this gossip if we can. You want more revolution gossip? Well, I can try to do that. Let's sell that. No chance. Let's peddle this. And let's sell that. I'll keep that for right now, I guess. It's still pretty fresh. We've got money pouring out of our coffers. Wish we could upgrade our house. For the last few weeks, discussions at the Estates General have been dragging out and growing ever more divisive. Enraged by their unfair representation, representatives of the Third Estate have created their own body called the National Assembly and invited members of the other states to join them in negotiations on what would, in theory, be fairer ground. This is, of course, in direct conflict with the orders of the king, who determined the voting system used in the Estates General. The nobility in the First Estate have called on the Crown to issue a swift and decisive condemnation of this rebellious act. However, His Majesty King Louis XVI has yet to issue any official statement on the National Assembly. Reports suggest that he has instead chosen to spend the last few days in long meetings with the courtiers of his Privy Council, trying to reach a decision. Okay, so nothing really happened there. Now, I am thoroughly exhausted, but there are other things to do. We could improve our favor with Honorad and Ludovico. More with Ludovico. Potentially some money. A very small amount of money. Credibility. Favor with Alex. You know what? We've been putting this off a long time. Let's try it out. I hope that my exhaustion isn't a big problem. Getting up a little earlier than usual, you walk south to the 14th arrondissement so that you can attend Ludovico's sermon. Much as he said, the neighborhood is poorer than most, and many of the houses are in even worse condition than your own, which is saying something. Thankfully, Ludovico's directions turn out to be correct, and you find the church without any difficulty. Parishioners are still filtering inside, with a few loitering outside to chat and catch up on the news of the day. It's a beautiful building, meaning that it was built when this neighborhood was still prosperous. Well, at least these people still have a beautiful place to pray. Stopping to greet the parishioners, still exchanging pleasantries outside, you enter the church and make your way to an unoccupied chair near the front. You sit down just as Mass is about to begin. While you were raised Catholic, you found yourself to be a touch less zealous than most. In fact, you realize that this is the first time you've even attended a church since arriving in Paris. That's true. Still, as the service progresses, you find yourself participating as if you'd never stopped. You know when to stand up, when to sit down, when to sing, and when to be silent. At one point, a procession brings forth a reliquary containing the forearm bone of a martyred saint. You look at the people around you, and they seem transfixed by it. Amazing to think that such a thing could still carry so much meaning for so many people. Did that saint ever imagine that this would happen? That they would affect so many long after their death? Ludovico presides over everything from his lectern, speaking Latin as if it was his native tongue. It's a good sermon, though he tends to stammer when he makes eye contact with you. Well, this is just the cutest sermon I've ever seen. Someone behind you shushes your musings, but you ignore them. There's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself. Benedictimus Domino! Or something like that. Ludovico intones to the crowd, signaling the end of the service. Dio gratias. Gratis. Gratis? I don't know. The crowd replies reflexively, yourself included. While most get up to leave, getting ready to go about their workday, you stand as the last in line behind some of the other parishioners to be blessed. You finally reach the front of the line and see Ludovico there, looking every part the humble priest, his thumb anointed with holy water. Approach, Madame Digo. You Minio, he says, gesturing with his free hand to the floor in front of him. Ooh, kiss his hand when he blesses you. My heart is in your hands, Father Sadati. You lower yourself to one knee and he draws the sign of the cross on your forehead. The cool water drips down your brow and the bridge of your nose. Ludovico says nothing, but you glance up at him and can tell your words have touched him. You've gained a little favor. I am glad to see you here, Madame Ducot, he says, just loud enough for the lingering parishioners to hear. I've heard that your circumstances have left you with quite the troubled soul. It's all an absurd performance for the sake of gossiping parishioners who will all carry your imagined circumstances far and wide, yet you can't help but appreciate the thought he's put into this. If you'd like, we could meet at a later time for a spiritual council. Father, my circumstances are most vexing, Father Sadati. I think this will take more than one meeting. I suppose we will. Ludovico manages to cough, trying to hide his flushing cheeks from the crowd. In fact, you may reach out to me whenever you like. He hands you a piece of paper with his address on it. You may now rendezvous with Ludovico. With a polite nod, you take your leave before anyone becomes suspicious. Well, even more suspicious, really. Outside the church, standing in the day's sun, you realize that you are absolutely exhausted. You decide to head home. Walking home through the 14th arrondissement, you puzzle over the morning's events. Charm, intrigue, and a hint of taboo. Nothing else that's exciting. You take your time. During your stroll home, the weather is lovely and everything feels brighter than usual. In fact, it feels like the start of something special. Indeed. As in, yet another romance. Alright, guys, that is the end of this episode. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you tomorrow.